Guys, welcome back to the channel. Welcome back to another video. Here behind me I've got my 2015 Chrysler Town & Country, and I made an original video on this about 3 years ago. I'll put a link in the description to it, but I just wanted to do a quick update video just to let you know how the vehicle is holding up in general. I know many people have got these Town & Countries. They're decently priced, so a lot of people get them instead of getting the Pacifica or the Toyota Sienna or anything like that. So let's take a look and I'll let you know how it's holding up. Okay, so first things first, the vehicle overall, from a look standpoint, from an aesthetic standpoint, has actually held up pretty well. So the paint looks really good. There's not much sunlight today, but as you can see, this is the kind of paint that has the little sparkly flakes in it. So it's very rare that the car looks very, very dirty. It hasn't been cleaned in a while, but the look of the vehicle is good. There is a little bit of a dent on one side, but when you have 4 kids, you expect that to happen. So let me point out a few negatives that's happened with the vehicle. So first of all, if you look, this is a rust spot that is, you can actually see it's under the paint. That's been there for a while. That is the only rust spot that I actually see on the whole vehicle. So I am not sure if that is a common thing or not, but I noticed that on the vehicle the other day. So that is a little bit of a sore point. Another thing, because the car has got automatic sliding doors, you know, we got this car I think in 2016, so we've had it quite a while. You will have to replace the battery, probably slightly more than you'll have to replace the battery in a regular car, because you know it's using those sliding doors very, very often, and you know you're doing it when the car is technically not running a lot of the time to get the kids in the vehicle. So you know, I've probably replaced it 3 times already, whereas on my other car that we had the same amount of time, I only replaced it twice. So that's another thing to note. Another thing is on the interior. I thought these were, you know, like pure leather seats, but I guess they're not. Look how much this seat has cracked. It's the only one that's done it, and obviously this is the driver's seat, so we get in and out of the car the most here, but it's totally busted up on this side, and big rip here, and the armrest to me is unusable. If you have a jacket that can fluff up on the elbows, this will tear that up really quick, and it's just started to happen on this side too. So that's the other thing that I've noticed. And then one other thing is there's some storage compartments at the top here. You press these and they come down, and on some of the models that's a TV that comes down. For us, this is the TV, which still works fine, by the way. But on this middle one, my son broke it and I can't figure out how to fix it. But overall, the car is still in pretty decent shape. You've got to ignore the mess, because like I said, I've got a 7-year-old and a 3-year-old and a 17-year-old and a 14-year-old. So the car is messy in general, but the way that it's held up and the way that the materials have held up is actually quite good. Like the door pockets, the door, everything is good on that. I did just place the window regulator, which allows the car window to go up and down. The remote start on the vehicle still works, which is wonderful. But the funny thing is, I've got a neighbor who has the exact same vehicle. She had to change the battery at exactly the same time I did, and then she had to do the window regulator. The window regulator was only about $50, but it has a lifetime warranty on it. So I replaced it myself. It took me about 2 hours. And I will say it's not the easiest thing to do, but it's definitely worth it if you want to save yourself about $300 from the dealership doing it. The power trunk still works fine. One thing that I will note is when it goes up, if it is a cold day, it doesn't go up as far as it should, and you have to push it up the last couple of inches. That's not that big of a deal. Like I said, that only happens when it's really cold. You know, we've run through a bunch of tires. I've never replaced the bulb on the back ever in all of the years that we've had it. So that has been fantastic. And the one thing, and it's the weak point of the car, the engine is pretty strong. What is it, about 280, 290 horsepower? We haven't had that much engine troubles, but the trouble that we do have, which is what you hear many people speak about when it comes to Chrysler in general, is I had to replace the transmission. And I was getting quotes all the way up to about $5,000, but I ended up getting it done for about $3,000, transmission replaced or rebuilt, and with a year warranty on the rebuilt transmission. So did it suck to replace the transmission? Yes, because it came at a terrible time. But that's honestly the biggest repair that we've had on the vehicle. Oh, there's one thing I forgot to mention. So on these vehicles, you do have AC in the front, dual climate control, but you also have this AC unit in the back up here. And what we have noticed is the AC now only blows in the front, but it does not blow in the back. So the kids are either really hot or really cold in the back. So that kind of sucks, because it might just be a relay, but it might be something wrong with the actual AC unit itself. But functionality wise, this car's great. The seats stow away, you can transport so much. And it's really nice when you've got young kids that the doors do slide open and close, because then when you're in the parking lot, let's say at Walmart or the shopping mall or wherever, you don't have to worry about your kids swinging the doors open and possibly breaking or, you know, door dinging somebody else's vehicle. So overall, the car has actually been really good for us. One other thing that I'm going to note is this particular vehicle had the blind spot monitoring. So you see this right here, that would flash yellow. When we first got the vehicle, it worked fine, but after about a year or two, the blind spot monitoring just miraculously stopped working for no particular reason whatsoever. There's one other thing that I want to mention to you guys, which is under the hood. This was the other issue that we fixed here a few months back, but it's the only other major issue that we've really had with the vehicle in general. So looks kind of dusty under here, but for the most part it is quite clean. That's just general wear and tear dust, and because it's a minivan, I'm not too concerned about cleaning that up super duper nice. But the car was leaking oil. I'll show you where. So I'm using the flashlight, but the car was leaking oil just down here in this gap, and the dealership told me that it was a pretty common problem for it to leak oil in that particular spot. I forgot the name of the part that needed to be replaced, but it basically cost me about $900 to get that bit fixed on the vehicle. So they're the main things that we had to have fixed. Like I said, bear in mind I've had it since 2016, and it's what, coming up to 2024, so we've had it quite some time, 7 years. To say that this is just a, you know, Chrysler product and we've only fixed those things, you know, that means that maintenance has not been as high as what most people say it is. It could just be because we look after the vehicle, do all the regular oil changes. We've ran synthetic oil through it the whole time. But if you've got any questions and want to know any other weird quirky issues that I've had with the car, you can tell me. Oh, let me mention this one thing before I let you go. When the wheel had to come off, when the transmission was being replaced, the wheels were stuck to the hub. I guess because it had gotten so hot that it had seized it on, so they had to basically break the wheel off and then replace my wheel. And I've noticed that with these cars, I looked online, that was kind of a common thing too, so don't forget that. But do me a favor, like the video, subscribe, ask me any questions in the comments below, and I'll see you in the next video.